Hi, I'm Adrienne. I'm a registered dietitian, and today I'm here to talk with you about drinking. Women in America are drinking a lot more and a lot more frequently than their mothers and their grandmothers ever used to. And so often clients will come to me and they will say, Adrienne, is drinking good for me or is drinking bad for me? Maybe they've heard from their friends, maybe you've heard from your friends that, let's say, red wine is actually beneficial because it contains antioxidants. Or maybe you're aware of some of the research that links liver disease to drinking. So whatever your preconception is here, I just thought that today we could share a glass of wine together and a little bit of wisdom and learn some tips for being healthier when we drink. So the big question here is, should you be drinking? And the answer is, it really depends on you. Whether or not you're already a drinker will make the difference here. So believe it or not, the American Heart Association recommends drinking alcohol in moderation, but only if it's something that you're already doing. If it's not something you do, it's probably not a habit that you want to pick up. So don't go running to the store just yet to get a six-pack. Stay with me. The reasons for this advice, which is a little bit conflicting, is that, one, we know that moderate drinking has been associated with cardiovascular health, and it's also associated with longevity. But on the flip side, we know that drinking can be linked to an increased risk for certain diseases, liver disease being one of them, and some types of cancer as well. One fact that I found incredibly startling and worth sharing with you is that in 2013, there were over 1 million visits to the emergency room from women alone in the United States related to heavy drinking. So the takeaway would be moderation, people. Moderation is really important. So generally speaking, if you're a healthy person, drinking in moderation can be safe and it can be a possibly even healthy way to unwind, let's call it that. But what is moderation? That's something that we need to know. So for women, moderation is considered 1 drink per day, and for men, moderation is considered 2 drinks per day. So men are a little bit luckier on this one than us women, but that's okay. Let's go through our different drink options. So first we have red wine or white wine, whatever you choose. About 5 ounces of wine is what counts as 1 drink. So this looks like a really healthy pour. I wouldn't frame this as my reference for 5 ounces. Definitely, if you're interested in doing it, next time you go to pour a glass of wine, measure it out first, and then you will be able to eyeball it in the future. When it comes to liquor, about 1.5 ounces, the amount that would fit into this little shot glass here. Sorry folks, no hard liquor today. It's not that kind of day. This is 1 serving of alcohol. So again, we've got 5 ounces of wine or 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. And last but not least, we have beer for our beer drinkers. About 12 ounces of beer counts as 1 drink, and that is exactly how much is in this bottle and comes in most cans and most bottles. So let's get into some fun stuff. Let's talk about our tips for being healthier when we drink. Okay, tip 1 is to keep it quality. What I mean by that is try to stay away from the bottom shelf booze and try to stay away from drinks that have artificial fruit flavorings or a lot of honey, a lot of syrup, agave. What those ingredients really translate into is extra calories, extra sugar, extra chance for a hangover later on. And that's not what we want. So try to avoid those things. Number 2 is to stay hydrated. This is a very important tip. Alcohol is a diuretic, folks, so it can cause dehydration. It's really important for that reason for you to make sure that you're drinking water before, during, just throughout the process, whether you're having one drink or a couple drinks. And I really like to recommend coconut water because it's rich in electrolytes, which is something that our bodies tend to lose when we're drinking. So it's really good, a good way to replenish. Tip number 3 is about B vitamins. So a little background information for you is when you're drinking and your body is digesting that alcohol, it's going to utilize your liver stores of B vitamins. And when those stores run out, you might pull B vitamins from the bloodstream to help digest that alcohol. So a lot of the symptoms that we associate with a hangover, anxiety, shakiness, dizziness, even depression, and nausea, the worst one if you ask me. A lot of those symptoms can be a result of cellular depletion of B vitamins. So my tip here is, if you know you're going to be drinking, consider taking a B complex vitamin, Costco, or alternatively, you can try to get your B vitamins from a natural source. Some good options would be poultry or seafood. Tip number 4. Oh boy, this one hits me personally. It's watch out for carbonation. So whenever I go to a wedding and there's a toast, I say cheers, and then I pretend to take a sip and I put down the champagne, because for me it's just not worth it. And that is because the fizziness, those bubbles in your drink, can actually increase the amount of alcohol that hits your bloodstream. So if you're like me and you're super sensitive, you may want to find another drink. But for those who can tolerate the carbonation, hats off to you. You just want to make sure that you're pacing yourself. And the last tip is that your food choices matter, even when you're drinking. And this can be one of the trickiest times to remember that food choices matter. So I know I've been there. You've probably been there. You're having a drink, you're somewhere, and all of a sudden you think, I could really go for a piece of pizza or some French fries or a piece of chocolate cake. That would probably be my choice. And that's because there's a neurotransmitter in your body that actually kicks into high gear when you're drinking. It's called ghrelin. So just have that awareness. Know that when you are drinking, you're more susceptible. And so it's important to try to think a little bit harder on your food choices. Am I really hungry? Do I really want this type of food over another type of food? Because keep in mind, the more sugar and the more fat you consume in your meal, chances are the worse you're going to feel later. So just bear that in mind. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I know this is a season of celebrating, so go out there, celebrate, have a drink, but feel good. And if you have any tips of your own to share with us, please do in the comments box. Thanks again, and cheers. Salud.